Mhm. Mhm. Morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Good.
Very good. Taking a break from learning some dance moves?
Yes. My 12-year-old is TikTok obsessed, so it's a
That's
lot of
funny.
dancing going on in the house.
It could be worse.
Right? Are you at the office?
I am.
Wow. Are you still going there every day?
No. I only go twice a week usually just to check mail and do deposits and stuff.
Okay.
So, yeah, just figured it's one of my office days, so I might as well do a class.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I got 2 closings on the 1st, so I was trying to get through
Nice.
command commissions last night on my own, so it was good timing that this class came up.
Perfect. Good to hear. So, what kind of things were you struggling with?
So the only part that I'm struggling with is the Keller Williams edition. So like, so my anniversary date is on May 1st. So
Okay.
what do I put in, like percentage wise for the royalty and the other one? Royalty and
See. So then if your reset day is May 1st, then you'll have to put in the 30%
percentages for the
in.
office.
Yeah.
So
And
just
whatever you put in, the system's gonna override it to the correct thing. So like
Okay.
even if, so like if you had a closing now, and sometimes there's been glitches where the company dollar still comes out. Whatever you put on the commission tab, once I pull it into my system, it's going to override that and say, no, she's capped. we're not taking it out. So there's a backup regardless of what you put in there, that
Okay.
it'll always be correct.
Okay. Okay. So even if I put it in a 0, it'll, on May 1st, it'll recalculate on its own.
Correct.
But if I do put it in correctly, what do I put where? Because it's 30% total, right?
30% for company dollar and 6% for royalties.
30 and 6. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Well, you shouldn't have to know the totals. I think it's gonna do it for you.
Okay. I'm gonna put the percentages in. It'll do the math for me.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hope so. Otherwise, hopefully you can figure out that that amount.
Right. If only I was closing the day before.
I know, right? You need to move it up a day. What can you
I
do to move
tried.
it up?
I tried. It doesn't work for the buyer. It's
Bummer.
not in their best interest. So it is what it is.
Who cares what their best interest is? It's yours.
In that case, can I move my anniversary date to May 2nd?
No. Nice try. All right, cool. We'll give a
That's
couple
all
more
I've
minutes.
got though.
Okay.
What's that?
I was just gonna say I'll give a couple more minutes.
Okay.
So I'll make sure we. Okay. All right. Weird, I turned everything in my office so like everything is facing the window, and so now I notice a bunch of glare.
I see that. It looks like you
Especially since I just shaved my head. It's
and now
nice
your
and
beard, your
shiny.
beard's growing out.
Yeah, it's my quarantine beard.
I like it.
Yeah, I think after quarantine, I'm gonna have to come up with a beard guy, like, and just see how much I can grow it.
Right? See what you can do with it.
Yeah,
All new trends starting soon.
I think so.
When everybody comes out of this, what are you doing about opening the office on Monday?
We're not opening it up Monday.
Okay.
So it's basically going back to what we were doing 2 weeks ago, since when you guys were able to show, office is still closed.
Okay.
We'll probably readdress it mid-May to see how everything's going at that point. So yeah, so we're not opening Monday.
Okay.
Yep. Cool. So how's everyone else doing? I see a lot of mutes and no video. It makes me a little lonely.
Oh, I'm
Greg-
just not
Greg, don't be lonely.
Well, I am in the office by myself, so I guess that makes it a little lonely.
Do you hear some noises in the office sometimes?
Once in a while, yeah.
Oh man.
I hear the elevator every once in a while, and I hope no one walks up behind me.
Yeah.
No, I don't have my video on because my son's sleeping, and this is my only time to bike. So
Yeah.
I'm on my bike in my workout room.
Alrighty. So I guess we can get started a little bit. To start off, is there anything that you guys are coming here to specifically learn that you've run into problems with that you want me to address? Aside from just walking through the whole process, is there anything like really specific that you've run into that you want?
I think my only question is how I add the TC fee.
Okay.
Because I see the drop down and then I see bonus deduction, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I don't know. So really that's my question.
Okay.
I know ours is just a little bit complicated but I've usually put that in my notes.
Okay. Yeah, and that's not a problem either. But I'll definitely cover that. Is there anything else you guys want covered specifically, or that you've run into problems with or have questions about? that I need to make sure I cover?
I'm just brand new to your system.
Yeah.
I worked with SkySlope for this last 7 years, so I'm not used to any other system besides that.
Okay, cool. We'll definitely get everything covered so you're able to run it on your own. Cool.
Thank you.
All right. Let me share my screen then, and I'll walk you guys through everything then. All right. So we'll start with our command home screen. And so in order to get started with everything, I'm going to make the assumption that you already have an opportunity created. So in order to get a transaction started, to make an offer, to open up the documents, you have to have an opportunity started. So if you click on this handshake icon right here, that's going to be your opportunities. And I'll just let you guys know this is the first time I'm sharing a screen on one of my Zooms, so I may run into problems or just kind of have problems walking through it because this kind of feels weird. All right, so I'm just gonna pull up so most of these are just test ones that I've done. So I'm just gonna pretend that I'm doing an opportunity that I started with. So gonna pretend that this is the one that I'm working with that I just got under contract. And so now when I get everything under contract, we're gonna wanna go to the opportunity. So you're gonna see on top here, when you go onto the opportunity, there's a details tab. You can click on the seller profile. That's right now, once you get into the offer and opportunity phase, this might not be super useful. It's mostly telling them that they have the app associated with them and they're using the Kelly guides. Once the guides get going a little bit more, this will tell you a little bit more information on where they are in the process. So we'll kind of brush over that for right now. But then we have the documents tab. So just a quick walkthrough on here. So on the left side here, it's going to pull up the residential. And since this is a listing opportunity, it's going to give you a listed folder, under contract folder, and a closed folder. If you wanted to, you could add more folders, and whether it's for documentation, for listing pictures, anything that you really want to add, you can add. And then in the middle section, this is going to show you, so this is the listed folder, and then these are the documents that you need to have in your listing folder for compliance. So look at this as being your document and compliance checklist. So you're going to need to put in exclusive right to sell. You'll put in the MLS listing active sheet, public records. Underneath the bold tab, it'll tell you whether it's required or, let's see if we scroll down here. There's some that's like conditionally required. So like an amend, extend. That's only needed if you have that. So does that make sense? Cool. All right, so then, so a couple of things that you can do when you're in the documents. So most of you will probably be doing your documents through CTME. So in order to get through compliance, you're going to want to get your documents into command. It's real easy to do. So you're just going to download the documents from CTME, and you can save it in a folder, save it on your desktop, however you want to save it. But then you'll want to click on here to attach multiple files. This is the easiest way to do it. So then it's going to come up with all of those files in the checklist, and you can either just drag and drop them, or just click on browse for files and go to your desktop or wherever you had them, double click it if you're browsing for it, and it gets uploaded. So this is nice because you can do multiple at the same time. You have to do it one at a time, but you don't have to keep clicking add file. So that's a really easy way to do it. Otherwise, if you were doing it individually, on the right here, you click on add file, and then you do the same thing. You can either drag and drop it or browse and find where you saved it. So if you see adding multiple files, it pulls up the whole Dropbox instead of just doing this one by one. So it saves you a little bit of time there. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Another thing that you can do in here that really helps out with compliance and communication is add comment here. So if you click on add comment, this can be messages to me, to Jordan, who's doing compliance, and then we'll send you messages here as well. So in order to do it, what you're going to do is hit the @ sign, and then it's going to give you a list of people that are associated with this that you can tag in here. And so we'll pretend I'm sending Kara a message, and I'll just say uploaded amend. Let's see, update. So we'll just add that as a note. So now Kara, we're saying that I just sent a note to Kara. And so if she was to go into her command, if you look at this little bell up top, that's going to be your notifications and tell you where you're I'm going to need someone here. There we go. And so if you go up to that bell, that's going to tell you what notes you have and what messages you have. So that's a good place to look. If you have the Kelly app as well, you'll get the notifications in there too. So that's where those messages go. Usually once I'm uploading a DA, I'll go in here and tag you in a message saying I uploaded the DA. If Jordan's in here doing compliance, he'll send you a message to you saying this file is missing a signature, whatever the issue is with it, or it's missing this file. And then he'll send me, once the file's approved, he'll send me a note saying, Greg, ready for DA. So the communication place is a really good spot to leave notes and communicate with each other. If you, let's see. So if you go to the under contract one, this is going to be really the same thing, where it's just a checklist of the things that you need to put in here. So you're just going to put your files in there as well. So with compliance, they can accept or reject the whole folder, one of the folders, and accept the other folder. They can also go in here and approve or reject certain documents. Let's see, if a document is rejected, compliance is going to have to put a note in here on why it was rejected, so it's not really confusing to you why it was rejected. So if you just hover over the message here, it'll tell you that why it was rejected. So this is one I was just playing around with, where I uploaded a random document and said it's wrong document, dummy. But hopefully it's a better note than that. Let's see. Oh, and then Also, so if you're looking for your messages, in addition to looking at the spell, there's this box here. When you click on that, that's going to show the message box. Forgot to mention that. And so that's really a lot of the comments and information that I have about the documents section. Is there, oh, I do have one other thing, but before I get to that, are there any questions about this document portion?
No.
Okay, cool. So one thing that is kind of a cool new feature that they put in a little while ago that you may or may not know. So say you have a listing, it's under contract, you have an offer, you've been putting documents in, now that offer fell through. So you're still going to want to use this same opportunity because it's the same buyer, or not same buyer, it's the same seller. So instead of going through and deleting all of these documents, which you probably, if you've submitted it already, you cannot delete, you can only replace. So it might get confusing if you're replacing certain documents from one buyer to the new buyer. So one thing that they added in here, which makes it really easy, and it's also a nice feature because it's going to help you save those past documents even though that offer fell through. If you go up here to where this triangle is, you can add new versions. So if I click on add version, this is going to be, that'd be confusing here. So we'll pretend, we'll do it in under contract because you're not going to have a new listing opportunity on that same listing unless it wouldn't make sense, because then those people aren't going to be selling a new house under that old house. So we'll pretend, okay, so you have one buyer that fell through, now you have a new buyer. So we're going to add a version here. And so this is going to be under contract buyer 2. So now you have a new version. So now this folder is called under contract buyer 2. So, and now you'll notice that all of the, it's kind of funny that I find myself pointing at the screen with my finger and the mouse. But now you're going to notice that all of these folders or the files, they're all blank now. Nothing's there because you're on under a new version. And now if I want to go back to that previous version, now you see it's still saved all of those previous files. So for your document records and having to retain past files and everything, it becomes really beneficial that you're not deleting documents and have to find a new place to store them. You know, so just by adding those new versions, that helps you keep things clean and not have to delete stuff. Does that part make sense to everyone? Did everyone see how that kind of worked out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, cool. Let's see. So, all right. So now we're gonna go over to the offers tab. So,
I have a quick question for you. Is that
yes.
okay? So there's that button right there, start a transaction. When we get a contract, I mean, do we push that or we just go under offers? Because I don't know. Is that what we do? Oop. Are you frozen? Or am I frozen?
I think he's frozen.
He might be frozen.
Okay.
I can
Okay.
hear you.
I was like, oh crap. My fiance started doing the streaming, so every since he built his room for the streaming thing, my internet's been all funky, so I don't know who's frozen or not. Oh, yeah, I don't know where he is. Hope he left.
Did we lose him?
I think so. It said he left, yeah. But it says here He'll pop back on, hopefully.
What was your question, Sandra? I can see if I can answer it.
Yeah. So you seen where that tab was, sorry, that button for it said start transaction. So once you get all of your documents in, say for example, the listing, and then once you go to, once you have a contract, do you say start transaction or do you just upload them? Because he didn't really go through that part, so I wasn't sure.
Let me open up my.
I don't have to be on.
I think I know what you're talking about. But so if you have that opportunity created already, you should just be able to go into the documents and upload.
Oh yeah.
I don't think
So
you
I,
have to click on
yeah,
that.
so I did that already. It's just, I've never pushed that start transaction button, up in the top right corner, above the document tabs. So I wasn't sure if you start a transaction that way or you just upload. I just uploaded them. So I wasn't sure, cause that's what I thought, maybe push the start transaction, but I didn't even touch that button yet. So I just uploaded everything from all the information.
Okay. Yep. So that start transaction button is like if you are syncing through DocuSign. So if you notice, if you click that start a transaction, it says, let me share my screen real quick.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Can you see it there? So I
Yeah.
clicked it and it says before you sync the transaction to DocuSign, assign your agent. So this would just be if you're syncing with DocuSign, it's starting that transaction, I think, with DocuSign. So
Okay, perfect.
with using CTM, I don't think a lot of agents are using DocuSign. So yeah, you can just come in here and add your files direct. You don't need to click that. The only thing you'll necessarily be clicking is that submit to MC there once you have your documents uploaded.
Okay, perfect. Then I did that correctly. Okay, I wasn't sure because in SkySlope you submit all your documents and then once you have a contract, you put accepted contract and then it gives you to the next step. So that's good to know. I don't use DocuSign, so don't need to use that. Thank you.
Yeah. Greg said his Wi-Fi dropped and he's trying to get back in. Does anyone else have any questions? I was kind of following along. I didn't really see where he dropped out.
I think he was on offers. I think.
I think he may be back in.
Let's see.
Greg, are you back in?
I am on the phone.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get it hooked up through my phone instead of, actually maybe it just came on. Do you think that coming into the office with Wi-Fi would make it more stable? I should have just stayed at home to do this. Okay. All right, internet just came back, so I'm just getting logged back in, and then we can get this back on, okay? All right, I'm back. Let's see. All right, so let's see where we left off. All right, so did anyone have any questions while I'm getting back?
My only question is a TC fee. Where do I put that in the commission side?
Yep, we'll get that in a second. That'll be real quick.
No problem.
I think Kara mentioned it, but one other thing with the documents, when you have the documents here, once you have all of the documents, actually, let me refresh this. You don't need to worry about the transaction part that goes to DocuSign, which is what I was trying to say before the internet dropped. But right under that is submit to MC. That's when you have all of your files uploaded and you're submitting the folder for approval. So generally, you could submit it one at a time. That's just going to make a lot of back and forth. And if you notice, when you do have a document here, if you click on this square with the 3 dots in it, once you have submitted the folder, you can't delete it, you can only replace it. So if it's before you've submitted it, you can actually delete it and redo that document. So it makes it a lot easier to submit it once everything's done. However, we do need it submitted. Ideally, it's getting submitted a week before closing, because it's going to take a few days to get through compliance and to create the DA for it. So try to get that done at a minimum of a week ahead. But we do understand that sometimes documents might come up or be waiting for approval, closer to closing. We get that. Just try and get it submitted as soon as possible. That's going to help you get paid as soon as possible, or get paid at the table. Okay, so going into offers. So now in here, I've been playing with this one for a little while, so it already has offers. In order to create a new offer, you're going to click on Add New Offer. And so you can name the offer, whatever it is. So I'll just name this one Smith. We'll say the Smiths submitted it. And so then it's just going to ask you for what day it was offered. We'll say they submitted it today. They're wanting to close May 29th. So now you just kind of keep going through the next portion. So it's going to ask for their name. The only information you really need is the place where there's a red star. So you don't have to have the other side's email or phone number or address. It doesn't have the star, so you don't really need that. And then you can put in here whether they're pre-approved or pre-qualified. That's not going to have anything to do with the offer in the system, other than when you compare offers, which I'll show you in a second for your client, it'll make it really nice and easy to compare offers if you're using that portion. And so then we're just going to put who the other agent is. Let's see. We'll just say it's Jeff. All right, and so now the next portion is going to be the terms. So how much are they putting down? How much are they financing? And that's going to come up with the sales price. So we'll say that they're putting, let's see, we'll say $50,000 down. They're going to finance $400,000. And so it's going to be a $450,000 sales price. For the earnest money, you can put either percent. Most people are going to do an amount, so you can just put the amount in here. You can put in options. You can put in termination dates if you need, if you have any seller costs that they're giving. You know, you can put that in here. Let's just say 1,000. And then the next portion then is going to be the agent analysis. So this is going to be your feedback for your seller in this case on the offer. So you can say the pros and cons and the summary of the offer. Let's see, and so you don't have to put that in, but I'll show you why that's really helpful. So one of the cool features with the offers is if you have multiple offers here, we're going to select all of the offers. And then once I have them selected, you'll see up here it says compare offers. So I'll click on that. And so now it's going to come up with this nice little spreadsheet of comparing all of the offers. So it's going to compare the sales price, how much they're putting down, how much they're financing, what their earnest money is, and all of that information that you just entered is putting it into this spreadsheet here for you. And then down here is giving that summary and pros and cons that you put in there. And so it becomes a really nice function that you can either email to the client or download. If you don't have email capability put into command, so you can just download it and attach it to a general email. And so now you see it's creating this really nice PDF that you can email over to your clients. So that makes it real nice and easy. You don't have to create another spreadsheet to compare all of the offers and everything. So, so it makes it really nice to use. Does anyone have any questions about comparing the offers or initially putting in those offers? Okay, cool. So now that we have offers in here, actually I have to redo this.
Hey, Greg.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Derek. I joined the meeting a little bit late. I apologize. I have another job that I'm doing full time, and I got on a little bit late. Did you guys already go over the listing side of using command, or?
We're just going over like what kind of stuff are you looking for the listing? Because we probably didn't, because we're just going over what we're doing to get paid.
I was just curious. I would like to talk to you about learning how. I just need to learn how to kind of upload all these contracts and documents to DocuSign. Are we using DocuSign? Is that kind of what we're using to get docs signed from our clients?
You have options. You can either use DocuSign or CTME still. So it's kind of up to you on which one you're using.
Gotcha.
Okay. And if you want, we can go over that in a one-on-one. Otherwise, at 2 o'clock, I have office hours. We can go over it at that time too.
Perfect. Okay, thank you so much. Sorry to interrupt here. I
Oh yeah,
apologize.
no problem. Not a
Thank-
problem at all. Yep.
Thanks, Greg.
Yep. So in order to do this, let's see, I have to take this offer. Okay, so I already had that accept. So once you enter in all of the offers, you're going to have the option which offer to accept. So you can choose whichever one you want to accept. So now we're just going to accept this one and say this is the one that they actually accepted. If things fall through, like I just did, you can change the response. And then if you take these backup offers, you can now accept those too. So now that you have an offer accepted, you'll notice that this commission tab is now dark. Before it was just faded. Now that it's dark, you can submit your commissions. So, so this is, oh, I was already playing around in this one. Oh, I don't want to do that. So, okay, so, so now we're in the commissions tab. Most of this is gonna be filled in. So you're just gonna wanna double check it. So it pulls in the sales price, the commission, 2.8%, which is from the listing contract that I had in here. Otherwise, on the buy side, you can enter that in. And then it's going to calculate your commission here. If you're doing a flat commission, so say on this one, I'm just taking a flat $10,000. You can just change it to $10,000 here, and then the commission percent is just going to automatically update. And so now we can change the dates on here if you needed to. If you scroll down here where it says agent breakdown, that's where you're going to be able to add most of your detailed portions, including TC, your splits, stuff like that. So this is where you're going to do most of your work. So one thing, if you'll notice now, so I changed the commission up here to $10,000. Up here on top is giving me an error because it's saying your agent commissions don't equal the total commission. So what that means is this $10,000 doesn't equal this $12,600 that it previously had. So if you do change the commission there, all you have to do is come down here and change it. And so now you're going to see that error up here went away. So one other thing that can come up, especially with the teams, is sometimes you'll have a split. And so I'll just go through this real quick. So if you have a split, say you have a 50-50 split with your team, you just change this to 0.5. Oh, we'll change it with this. So we'll say it's 0.5. You'll notice that this total commission here didn't change. So we're just going to manually change it. That's probably something that they're going to work on at some point. It's just one of the glitchy things where you have to manually change that commission. And now that you scroll down here, now that it didn't add up to one whole unit, now you see that there's an add unit or add agent. So now I can select any agent that I want to. And it's going to pull up the agents in the office. And now there's the agent detail down here as well. So now I'm going to add half a unit for Dawn, add in the $5,000 there. And now the error went away again, saying it the commissions add up and the units add up. So that's one thing that you can do there. If you, let's see, so if you wanted to donate to KW Cares, Kids Can, Bold Scholarship, these are the KW, Keller Williams International donations that you can donate to. So you can put amounts in there. Otherwise, if you click on the add item here, this is going to be a lot of the question section. So brings up an add item drop box. So a couple things that we'll talk through here. So the bonus is usually going to be when if you're collecting an admin fee from your client, say to pay for photos or whatever admin fee that you're collecting from the client, you would put it in as a bonus. So we'll say we're collecting a bonus of $350 on this that the client is paying. Almost, I'd say 100% of the time, but I'm sure there's some situation somewhere. You're not going to split it with the market center, but if you did split it with the market center, you can toggle that. So we're just going to leave it as if you're not splitting it with the market center, you're getting a $350 bonus, and so now we're going to add it. So now if you look on the summary section over here on the right, it added in a bonus of $350, and that's going to, let's see, that is going to the agent's commission then. There it is. So that's showing where it's getting added to the commission. Let's see, so another add-on that you can add. Next one, we'll say we're giving them a $1,000 concession. So you can click on concessions here, add $1,000. Oops, not $10,000. So now it's just asking, is the concession on the closing statement, is it coming off the top? So is it coming off before the splits? Say yes, and then is the market center paying it? Probably not. So now we'll add in $1,000 concession. And so now on the right over here, it's adding in that $1,000 concession here. Let's see, so other items. You can add in deductions. So once we go into the deduction, this is where you're going to add in the TC fee. So we'll say we have a $350 transaction coordinator fee. Let's see, TC fee. And we'll say we're paying it to $52.80. And then you'll need to enter in an address. I'll just select whichever one. And fill out that information. Now you'll add it. And now you see it under here for deductions is the $350. Also, when you, it's up here. Now it's also on here as the TC fee. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, cool. So it's pretty simple. I wish they would have it actually say transaction coordinator. However, on our side, a lot of things go in under deductions. So to have this add item set up as it is in our system, once you click on deductions, then you would need multiple drop downs, which is a lot for them to add. It might come at some point. So for right now, that's how you would add it. Other things, if you were paying for a warranty, you would do the same thing. We're adding a deduction, and let's say we're paying $250 to home warranty. And so we'll say we're paying $250 to the home warranty. You're just going to do the same thing, and now you see here under other deductions, it just added those two together. However, on the left here, it has them separated out. And if you needed to, you can edit it. You can also delete it. If you need to make, and I should say, if you need to make any changes to this after you've already submitted it. At this point, just send me an email, text or a message in here. Once you submit this, if you change it, it's not going to get changed in the system. At some point it will. At this time, it does not. So just communicate with me if anything changes there. If you happen to have a referral on this, so an inside referral is if you have a referral with someone in the office. The outside referral is going to be used more often. So that's going to be anyone outside of the office, whether it's KW or someone else outside of the office. So you can add the outside referral. We'll say it's 25% referral. In here, it is going to ask you for tax ID or EIN. So I suggest once you get that referral, ask the agent for the W-9 for their office. Once you get that, then you'll have all of the information that you need to enter this in. And then you'll just fill that all out. All of this information should be on their W-9. And then just add the W-9 into the documents. In the under contract, there are a couple lines there for referrals. I'm not going to add this because I don't have creative mind to add. Well, I guess I could. I'll just make this up real quick. Okay, so now that that's in there, now you have the outside referral up here as well. If you do have the referral, I'll show you real quick. If you go into documents in under contract, oh, maybe it's not in under contract. Okay, this is in the closed file. So here's a referral form and W-9 that you can add to the file. Real quick side note, if you are doing a referral through KW and using the referral network, you don't need to have a referral form in this office. You may have other offices that need a referral form. I just need, if you want to, you can just take a screenshot of the section where you have that referral agreement and put that in here. I'm a little bit more lenient than other offices, so there may be differences. If you have questions about that, just let me know. But here's where you can add the W-9. So if we go back to the commissions, so those are most of the things that you would add in for the commission tab. If you see here, all of the splits and stuff, they're all automatically in there. They're not editable at this point. However, once you pull it, if there is a discrepancy in there, it's not gonna take company dollar or royalties in my system if you are capped. So once it pulls into the system, it will adjust it. This is more like a data entry form to pull into the official system that I use. So don't be alarmed that it's taking a split out of here. It just might be a glitch or it might not be updated. Right now it's updating after I transmit all of our data and records at the end of the month. So that information will get updated usually about the 5th or 7th of the following month. So like for April to be updated, it'll be updated the 5th, 6th or 7th usually of May. But if you see a split coming out here, don't worry about it. If you want, you can send me a note, send me a message. You can also add a note down here and just say I should be capped. I'll double check in to make sure it's right, but the system doesn't allow us to take over your cap. It'll adjust it automatically. But a note doesn't hurt. It gives me a note if one. Cool. So once you have all of the information entered in here, it'll say submit. Since I already submitted this once and rejected it because I was testing it with a different class, it says resubmit. So once you hit submit, it's just going to ask you if you want to donate anything else to KW Cares. Hopefully you do. We'll say we're donating here just to make a good example. And we're applying it. So now it's saying, thank you for your support. And it's now up here saying your submission is under review by the MCA. So now that you've submitted your commissions, we'll take a look at it and either approve or reject it. The summary up here should tell you what status it's in. Once I pull it into my system, it should say imported. Now that you've submitted your commissions, this should be done within 72 hours of offer being accepted ideally. And I understand that there may be changes with home inspection, contingencies, anything else that might come up. If it's submitted already, just send me an email on what those changes are and I'll get them updated. But it really helps the office and timelines of getting files completed and submitted and DAs ready to do it further in advance rather than just like a week before closing, because usually closings are end of the month. So if I have 80 offers getting submitted the week of closing, I'm getting bogged down in here going through offers and I'm not able to get the rest of my work done. So if you could, that would be helpful, but I understand that things come up. Once all of your documents in here are submitted then, so you can submit the commissions prior to submitting all of your documents, that's not necessarily related. But once you have your documents submitted and this says approved, like I said in the beginning, I'll get notified by Jordan when it's ready for a DA. Once I have the DA ready and completed, if you go into the close folder, you'll see these 2 DAs. That's where I'm putting those. So it's going to be in the close folder. The DA that I sign for you to send to your title company is going to be this first one. The DA detail is going to give you multiple pages, and it's going to give you a lot more detail than the title company really needs. It's going to give you a second page showing all the detailed breakdowns of where the money's going and everything. So that's where you can find those. Let's see. So I think I've covered everything. Do you guys have any questions for me? Anything that he didn't cover up? Anything that I went through too quickly? What kind of things do you guys have?
No, this helped a lot. I got what I needed.
Okay, good. What else? Anyone else? Cool. One last thing that I'll say then, if you do have a file that terminates, can you send me a note or a message saying that it terminated? One thing that I have coming up that gives me a lot of steps to correct and fix. So you're able to, once you submit the commission, deal falls through, you can go through and do a new offer, resubmit new commission, and it's not going to notify me that that first one is terminated. And so it's going to let you submit a second commission. So now I have a new commission on this address that I don't know about. And when I try pulling it into my system, then I get all sorts of errors and have to backtrack, terminate that first one, delete it out of this, or terminate it out of the system, make sure the listing number isn't connected with our DA number, and then go back into your commission that was already started for the second one, reconnect it with the new DA, and then accept it and take it and put it back to that first listing. So it takes a lot of extra steps that gets really confusing. And sometimes I've even had for the same client 2 DAs that I'm expecting the office to get paid on, until I realize that it's the same last name when I'm going through and seeing why I don't have a closing for a second person. So if you have a terminated file, if you could just send me a quick email or message or something, that would help save me some time.
Got it.
Cool. Any other comments or questions or anything? Cool. Well, I appreciate you guys hopping on here. You know, if you do have any questions or anything comes up, just let me know. Hopefully we have a lot of these DAs and closings coming through for you.
Fingers crossed. Thanks, Greg.
All right,
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, guys. And
Have a good
Derek,
day.
jump on at 2 o'clock or let me know when a good time is to go over the listing documents and stuff.
Cool, cool. Actually, I was wondering, do you have any time by chance tomorrow? Because I was going to take a half day from my regular job, and that would give me a few hours to kind of play around with the new command system and get to, know it a little better. And I don't know if you have time tomorrow at all or another day.
Tomorrow I am extremely booked.
Okay.
I'm also pretty booked on Monday.
Okay.
I have
How about
time Tuesday though, so Tuesday would be a good day.
Okay.
As of right now, I have time in the morning and afternoon, so just let me know what works on Tuesday.
Yeah, let's. Can we pencil something in for Tuesday morning? What's a good time for you typically?
Let's see. I can probably do 10 or 11.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. I'll be open for either of those. So let me go ahead and pencil it in so I don't forget here. So Tuesday is the 28th, and that would be meeting. What do you think? 10 or 11 work better for you? I probably just need like 20 minutes of your time just to go over a couple quick things on the documents.
Okay. Let's just do 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. Okay.
Yeah. And I'll get you on here. If anything does come up though, so we don't have the training calendar for next week ready yet. If anything does come up that I have to get on a training at 10 o'clock, I'll let you know and we can reschedule it.
Okay, sounds good. Just keep me posted, and thanks again for your help with this. I greatly appreciate that, and I'm sure as do the others. So thank you so much for your help.
Yeah, my pleasure.
All right,
thanks
take care.
guys. Have a good day.
You too. Thanks.
All right, bye.
Bye now.